Hey, welcome back to my channel. Today we're going to be talking about cozy books. So it is the middle of winter. It snowed in Texas. Crazy. It has been so chilly and just like such cozy vibes that I've been so into just all things coziness. When it's cold outside and I'm just curling up with a good book, I want to be immersed. Like I want to be taken somewhere else, taken to a different time period, a different world. I want all of that. So the books that I'm going to talk about today are going to be ones that I've read and would recommend if you're looking for a cozy read, and then also ones that I really want to read, preferably this winter. So let's get into it first with the books that I'm recommending to you. First up, I have one mystery book, and that is Rock, Paper, Scissors by Alice Feeney. Now, this one is definitely like, when I finished it, my jaw was on the floor. It was an amazing twist. It follows this couple, Adam and Amelia, who have won a vacation to this like little, I think, like cabin in the middle of nowhere, and it's very like wintry, but there's a snowstorm, so they actually can't find their cabin, and they're dealing with all these things, and during that a lot of things are revealed about like the iffiness of their situation, and just like we are also taken back through their marriage and kind of their history, and we learn more about it. So very interesting. Next, I have two historical fiction books. So the first one is A Gentleman in Moscow. Now, I wouldn't say that this one, I mean, like, other than it being like taking place in Russia, which is like a cold country, I wouldn't say that like it's necessarily like a cozy book, but he is like in this hotel the entire story, so you're staying in that one spot, and you're like really getting to know the like environment of the hotel, and then you're also getting to know everyone in it. So it feels like you're settling in one spot and you're just not moving, and it is a very fun time. I really enjoyed it, and I want to reread it soon. Next, I have I think this is considered young adult historical fiction. It is Lovely War by Julie Berry. This one is very interesting because it's framed by this kind of like argument between Aphrodite, Hephaestus, and Ares about like love and war. And to kind of like prove their points, they are discussing like these two couples that have been like torn apart by war. And if I remember correctly, one is during World War I and one is during World War II. So you get to see like these two different love stories going on during these like very hectic and violent times of the world wars. And then it's also framed by these mythological figures who, to them, like time moves so slowly. So it's a very interesting book, and this meeting takes place like between like the three gods, like in a hotel sort of thing. And I guess there's a theme here. I guess I find hotels cozy. I don't know why. Lastly, for the books that I'm recommending, I have three fantasy books. So the first one is a standalone, and that is Spinning Silver by Naomi Novik. And this one is a Rumpelstiltskin retelling, and it's actually my book club book that we're reading right now. So it's funny because I recommended this book to them without actually having finished it, because I started reading it back over the summer, and I stopped because I was like, these are peak cozy vibes and I want to read it during the winter. So I will be picking this up soon. But just like, you can look at this cover and tell me it's not giving cozy. It follows a girl who is a moneylender in her village, and she, as my friend put it, is a woman in finance. Like, she is not taking anything from anyone, and she is just going about her day. And then I think what happens is that she ends up catching the attention of the like grim king of some sort of like fairy creature, and that's not good. So, and then she has to deal with all sorts of like challenges and stuff going on with that, and it's like a very like interesting and unique fantasy story from the 100 pages of it that I can tell. So this is also kind of like a to be read sort of thing. Next we have the first books, and like I'm kind of recommending the whole series, but the first books in 2 different series that I have read. First is the A Darker Shade of Magic trilogy. This one I actually read like over winter break in college, like a couple years ago, and like I just like marathon through the series, which is very unlike me, but it was just so unputdownable. And I was also like stuck in the cold over winter break, so I was just loving reading through this. I think this also gives me cozy vibes because it takes place in London, and like 4 different versions of London, but London is definitely colder than Texas, so that makes me feel like it's cozy because it's a colder place. And also like they call our London like the mortal London, like gray London, and then there's a white London, and I think like a black and a red London, and it is very interesting to like see. Like, I feel like V.E. Schwab does a great job at, like, describing these places and the, like, very bleak essences of them. Lastly, I'm going to recommend a series that, like, I know everyone's heard of, but I just had to mention it, and that is the Six of Crows duology. I mean, I think everything about this, like, the environment, like, the setting of the story is so, like chilly, cold atmosphere, which makes me think cozy. It's got the heist going on, which is always a fun time. And I think like when you're thinking about cozy books, I think of something where it's like a fantasy or historical fiction, is cold in the place, and then is very compelling, so you just don't want to put it down. So you're just like hunkered down reading your book. And that's exactly what this gives. Now I want to talk about some cozy books that I'd like to read this winter, and we're going to start with a standalone fantasy, and that is Tress of the Emerald Sea. This would be my first Brandon Sanderson book, and I think it's a good one to get started in because it's a standalone, and then it's also, I think, a Princess Bride retelling, and I love that movie, and I think that I associate that with like coziness because it's like kind of a Christmas movie if you like consider the like framing of the like old man telling the kid the story on Christmas. I don't know, but Princess Bride gives me cozy vibes, and if this is Princess Bride, then I'm calling it cozy. That's all I know, but I really want to read it and I'm excited. Next, I have 2 romance books, and I think that these are more like fall themed. It is the Cinnamon Bun Bookstore and the Pumpkin Spice Cafe, and I do understand that, but it's going to be a while till it's fall again, and I don't really want these to sit on my books forever. I don't really want these to sit on my shelves forever. So I feel like it might be fun to break up like the fantasy and historical fiction with some romance. So I feel like these might be in my near future. Lastly, I have 2 historical fiction books that I want to talk about. First, I have Crossings by Alex Landdragon. I've been talking about this book for so long, but I really do want to read it. And what I think is so interesting about it is that it lets you follow the story in 2 different ways. So you can either read it just like start to finish like this, like a normal book, or it has like this little set of page things that you can read, like where to go to from each page. So it'll tell you, like, if you go, like, if you start at page 150, hold on, this is really important. So if you start at page, like, 150 like this and you finish it, it'll tell you at the bottom to go to, like, the next page that's not. So I think that that would be really fun, kind of like a choose your own adventure thing. And it's also historical fiction, so that's, like, cozy. Yeah, I've never seen a book where it's like that, so I'm so excited. And the last book on my list is The Frozen River. It already sounds cozy based on the title. A mystery-ish book that is a historical fiction book. It takes place in like revolutionary America. I don't know. I want to read it, and I'm excited to read it. So those are the cozy books that I wanted to talk about today. I am also taking the winter to do like some cozy activities. So I've been really into paint by numbers, and I've also been, I just bought some yarn to do some crocheting, and I think I want to like listen to audiobooks while I do those things. So maybe that, I'm thinking about doing like a reading vlog soon. So maybe I will show some of that in that video. But anyway, thank you so much for watching. Let me know if you have like any cozy book ideas or recommendations or things that you want to read in the comments if you want to, and please stick around for more videos if you would like. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you next time.